to give you a quick guide on tension card. Now, first of all, what are tension cards? These are equipable that you can equip on your party, and they give you a wide variety of buffs. They are ranging from shielding, crit rate, crit damage, HP, and defense, and a lot more. Now, there are three main things you want to take note of whenever you are about to equip a tension card. The first you have to notice is what targets do the tension card affect? What second is what tension do you need for them? And the third is what requirements do you need to activate their buff or further enhance their effectiveness? Now let's start off with the first one, which is what tension do you need to activate? Now when you take a look at a tension card, you are going to see right at the start that you need certain tensions to activate. They range from 0 to 1 to 2 to 3 and to EX. And so let me quickly go over how do you get tension. Now when you're in combat, you get tension from doing a wide variety of things. You get it by attacking, by doing perfect dodges, by doing counter attacks, and by breaking an enemy. These are all things that will give you tension, and you also get them from your characters that can also give you buffs, that can also give you buffs that extend to your tension. A good example would be Tsuki, right? So now that is out of the way, so you have to look at what tension you need to activate. You don't want to go activate a tension card that only activates when you get to EX, right? This is going to be very difficult to do, especially when you're starting out. You want to look for tension cards that range from 1 to 2, right? Those are very good spots. Now of course you can go ahead and equip EX, but I'm just speaking for general sake. So we know we need tensions to activate a card. Now the second thing you have to take note of is what targets do they activate. Now when you take a look at this tension card, for example, full party, everyone gets this. It says here that all your party members can be able to take part of this buff whenever you have this equipped. Now what about another card? Let's take a look at this card, Energy Steal, for example. Now when you take a look at this card, it only says that when you meet certain conditions, and the condition for this card is when you attack hits, it's going to recover your HP or your health point by 2.44% of the damage dealt. So what does this mean? This means that for this to activate, you have to be actively dealing damage, and your party members have to be actively dealing damage to the enemies. So if you were to deal damage, you won't be healing your party members with this card. You would only be healing yourself. And if the AIs or your other party members being controlled by the AI were to be dealing damage, then they will also be healing from this card. But what if a character, for example like IG, that just stands there, that doesn't do anything, right? Because in his stance, this card won't be benefiting him, right? Because you won't be getting the healing. So you have to meet this condition. That's the second thing you have to take note of. Who does this affect? So now we know that we need tension phase to activate, and we also need to watch out for what characters or what party members does this card affect, right? So also on that note, on what characters this card affect, there are certain cards that for it to activate, a character in your party has to be the trigger for it. So what does that mean? So take a look at this card, Kazuki card, for example. Now for this card to activate, you need to grant your party member shield. Now of course there are loopholes to this, or not really loopholes, but there are ways you can go around this. But you also have to keep in mind that there are certain cards like this that your party members have to trigger certain things for you to be able to get the crit rate. Now what I mean by ways to go around this is, if you take a look at this card right here, this card grants you shield whenever an enemy phase or tension phase increases. This card is going to grant you shield. Now this card, compare it with this card, and you don't even need to have a shielder in your party, right? So this is something you also want to look out for. So with this card, you don't necessarily have to have a shielder in your party. When you equip this card, you are automatically going to get this the effect. Now I'm going to be dropping a video also very soon on my favorite tension card to use and why I use them. Now the last thing we have to take note of is passives, right? and how to further enhance the passive, or how to activate the passive intention card. Now let's take a look at this card. For example, this full party, it says it increases your critical rate and your defense point by this certain amount, and when your party, when granted unity, there will be 2 times effectiveness. Now how do you get unity? Maybe we'll get characters in the future that will be able to grant unity from their skills, but at the moment we know that this card right here grants us unity. And when you take a look at this card, it says the tension it needs real tension. That means at the start of the battle, it's going to be granting us unity. We don't need to have any requirements for it. The only requirement when you click over here is you have to have 3 party members, your party members alive, for you to be able to grant unity. And the moment one of them dies, unity is going to be removed. I will know that to further enhance this passive we get from this card, we need to have unity, and this will make it 2 times effective. So effectively, this means the crit rate is no longer 10.9%, but it's going to be 10.9 times 2, right? So 20 something crit rate. Now these are things to take note of when you are taking a look at the tension card. Right. So quick roundup. What do you have to take note of when you're looking at tension card? First, what tension phase you need to activate. The second is what target does this tension card affect? Does it affect all your party members or just the single party member? And the third is if you need further buffs, not buffs to say, but further requirements to be able to fully activate their passive or the buffs they give to you. And these are things you have to take note of, right? So guys, if this video helped you, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and if there's anything you're having difficulties with in Tribe 9, drop a comment below and I will see to make a video. So yeah, that's all guys. Peace.